Good evening, and welcome to the school committee meeting of Tuesday, July 12, 2022. The meeting was called to order at 6 o'clock. School committee went into an executive session. We adjourned just moments ago and are now resuming the meeting in public session. As we do at the beginning of all meetings, please join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Also, we begin the meeting with the reading of the mission statement. The vision of the Wakefield Public Schools is to graduate students who are confident lifelong learners who are respectful and caring members of their community. Our mission is to prepare students for college, career, and community by providing rich and challenging curriculum, high-quality instruction, and educational experiences that meet their individual needs and interests. Item number 6 on the agenda tonight is public comment. Any member of the community who wishes to engage the school committee in any matter, whether it's on the agenda or not, is welcome to do so. Anyone in the studio or in the audience, anyone on Zoom for us, folks? Anyone know? Not seeing anyone on Zoom and no one here in the studio audience, we will move to item number 7, the consent agenda. We have a motion. Ms.
Yes.
Lehman.
Move that the school committee approve the minutes of the school committee meeting of June 28, 2022, and accept the minutes of the school committee policy and communications subcommittee meeting of July 6, 2022, as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any comments? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. Let me make a note for the record. Just having taken a vote made me remember that Dr. Piscatello and Ms. Colleran are not with us tonight, and Dr. Lyons is joining us via Zoom. So that is, and the rest of us are here in studio. Item number 8, which is our budget items. The month of July gets very complicated between closing one year and opening one year. So we're going to place the budget items for those two matters, especially the close of 22 on the August agenda. Item number 9, school committee chair comments and actions. Very brief update on the bargaining, just for the community to know. This would be very similar to the labor subcommittee report, so I won't necessarily give it twice. We have a tentative agreement that has been reached with both the clerical union and the custodian union and the traffic supervisors. We're not in a position to be able to vote on these tonight. The school committee has been briefed. Now the next step should be for those two collective bargaining groups to meet with their membership and hear back from their membership. So it's entirely possible that we would be discussing these matters and voting on them publicly at the August meeting. So let me just say a tremendous thank you and congratulations not only to the administration's negotiating team and the work that has been done, but certainly and not without good cause to thank the leaders of the employee groups for the work, the energy, the passion that they've put in. The work that they're doing is extraordinary, and every employee is really what it takes to make the school district work. So it's really good and rewarding to be able to see that we're landed in a common place, in a good square with our clerical unit and our custodial group, who work incredibly hard to provide the work that they do to support teachers, support staff in teaching and learning, and ultimately the work that we all do for the kids. So certainly more to follow in August, but congratulations to those all involved in that. Item number C, excuse me, 9C, school committee retreat. So you all know, thank you all for responding to the doodle that I put out a week or so ago regarding coming up with some dates, dates and times to hold our school committee professional development session. I don't want to think that we're on a roll of not being able to get together yet again, but we do not have, of the dates that I put up, we don't have one date that works for even the majority of people. And of course, this isn't a meeting that we want one person to miss. So, one of the things if I can sort of marry this conversation with something that Amy and I just discussed regarding the school committee calendar. So I'm going to sort of have those both as topics, and then Amy, please chime in based on what we chatted about. So we don't have of all the dates that we talked about or that were in the doodle, none of them working for everyone, none of them working for the majority of people, never mind everyone. So we just need to put that aside, but thank you nonetheless for contributing to that piece. I'd like now to, and I shared out earlier, or yesterday, a redraft of the school year, the school committee's meeting schedule. We had presented that, a month or so ago at one of the June meetings. Amy had raised some thoughts and concerns. She did work to come up with some research on thoughts and of things that we may want to rearrange, to be mindful of holidays and to be mindful of religious observances. So with that in mind, we'll get back to the school committee retreat thing in a moment, but I'd like to ask Amy to pick up on what your recommendations and thoughts are about the calendar, so we can agree to a school committee meeting schedule for the year.
Do you want me to make a motion for the school committee
Well,
calendar, and then we'll open it for discussion?
No, because I don't think the calendar as presented is what we're going to do, right? I think we have to.
You gave us a new one.
Right,
Okay.
but I don't know that's going to, I don't think that's going to work.
Okay.
So just if you could begin to, there's a calendar on the table.
Okay, there was a calendar on the table.
Right, and why is that not, why
Okay,
is that
so
not good?
there was on Tuesday, September 27th is the second day of Rosh Hashanah. And according to our policy, which is not, hold on, I just had it up. There is a policy called Accommodations for Religious and Ethnic Observances. It's policy 906R. There are religious holidays and observances that we can't schedule meetings or back-to-school nights, and the 2 days of Rosh Hashanah are included. So we're changing that date, the Tuesday, the 27th. And the other dates were fine.
So with that, I think that's where what we need to decide now as a group, if we can, that we're looking at coming up with what are the 2 dates in September for a meeting, if we're not going to meet the 27th. And on the draft that I pushed out yesterday for conversation, if you look at September, it says September 6 or 13, and then September 20. So I guess we have to decide what we want to do in the month of September, because it would have been 13 and 27, but if we're now not doing 27, do we do 13 and 20, which are two weeks back to back, or do we do 6 and 20, keeping 2 weeks apart? So committee conversation around that, please.
I would recommend 13th and 20th, just because Labor Day is insane, and I think that we're all going to be doing a lot of work anyway around the Labor Day, so I think that it would be better. Even though it's back-to-back weeks, I think the 13th and 20th would be better than having a meeting the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Okay.
I'm going to agree that the 13th and 20th, because the September 6th is the night before the first day of school. And I know a lot of us have kids in the school system, and we'd like to be home, maybe. I don't
Yeah,
want to speak
it's all
for
good.
Yeah, that's.
Doesn't it also make an election? No.
The 20th, the 6th is an election.
day.
Primary
Yes.
day, yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So then, if that's to hop to the chase, are we looking at Tuesday, September 13, and Tuesday, September 20 for September meeting dates?
Just a question?
Yes, sir.
I should have asked this, or I probably should know the answer. Do we have to have it on a Tuesday? Is it we prescribed that we have to have it on Tuesday? I know we always have, but
It's in the regular meetings are supposed to be Tuesdays.
They are,
It is,
okay,
it is,
okay.
now, of course, when we have a special meeting, then we can,
right.
but I
the regular
suppose
meetings-
with proper notice to the
Yeah.
community, I suppose we could.
Yeah, I mean,
put it
if
on
you didn't want to have
another night,
back-to-back,
if
you wanted to use the week of Rosh Hashanah, but you just did it another day that week. So it did intersect with the 2 days of Rosh
You might
Hashanah.
go to Wednesday,
Something
which would
like
be
that.
September
I don't know,
28th.
Just a thought, because back-to-back, I imagine that second meeting is going to be pretty darn short. Well, although there's always no lack of topics to
That's a
discuss.
possibility. We could
True.
do Wednesday, September 13, excuse me, Tuesday, September 13, and Wednesday, September 28.
Just
We could do that.
as an option. I don't know if that affects WCAT and our ability to have the meeting here if it's booked or whatever.
Well, that's a consideration,
Yeah.
but we can also have a meeting elsewhere. I mean,
True,
we,
true.
obviously, we want to make sure that the meetings are available and accessible to the community, but,
Just throw it out there. as
so,
well.
no, those are,
Yeah.
so now we have two suggestions on the table. Anyone want to go for a third suggestion? Okay, so people have a preference. Do we want to do a straw poll? Do we want, you want, what do you want? What do we want to do?
So I just want, hold on, I want to just make sure Wednesday, the 28th, isn't a back-to-school night for some of us.
Oh, okay.
And
I'd be a
it's
fan
not.
of keeping it on Tuesdays just because of sort of the cadence. And even like going back to back isn't unheard of. We have done it before.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we've
We
done-
just have to be mindful of the agendas for those 2 weeks.
Yeah, we could split them up so they're not,
Right.
neither is too heavy, you kind of,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I don't have a strong preference. I just thought I'd throw it out there
Yeah.
as, for a discussion, but. Amy, is there a back
Is
to
it, is
school?
it
No,
one of,
the
is it one
back
of
to-
these, a back-to-school night?
So there is a Doyle back-to-school night on the 27th, but that will also be moved because of
Right.
the holiday.
I mean, either 13 or 20, isn't that, wasn't one of those a back-to-school night?
The 20th is the high school back-to-school night.
So it only
so-
affects me. It's okay.
Don't you have a senior?
I do have a senior, but I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm not gonna go, for
I
God's sakes.
I have to say, last year I did miss a
My
back-to-school.
son would be happy to say, you're not going, but,
I had to miss the Galvin one last year.
so, okay. What is our preference, folks? Let's,
I'm gonna say back-to-back.
back-to-back 13 and 20. Stephen?
Yep.
Still, Kevin?
Yep.
Mike?
Yep.
Okay, back-to-back September 13 and September 20.
Okay.
Now, this gets into the idea around August, and that's why we will get that, then we'll back ourselves into that. So on the draft schedule that we were presented yesterday via email, it had the notion of putting one meeting in August and splitting the month at Tuesday, August 23. That is different than the calendar from a month or so ago. However, I don't think, so I've heard from two members since that the Tuesday, the 23rd will not work for them. So I'd like to take that off the table because we don't want to purposely schedule meetings when we know two of us can't be there. So that then puts the two meetings originally set for August back in play, which is August 13 and
16.
August 16, excuse me, August 16 and August the 30th. So we'd like to reinstate those into the mix. And what Amy and I were brainstorming about is how about the school committee retreat on Tuesday, August 30th? Substituting that from a regular meeting to the planning meeting.
Could you say that again?
Sure. So we would reintroduce the original idea of Tuesday, August 16
Yeah.
and Tuesday, August 30 for meetings.
Yeah.
But substitute Tuesday, August 30 from a regular meeting to the professional development planning meeting.
Oh, so we'll do the retreat on the 30th.
We do the
Yes.
retreat on the 30th.
Because
Gotcha.
the second option, the 23rd, I guess two people
Two
can't
people
come.
couldn't do it, so I'd like to take that off. I don't think it's fair to purposely schedule something when we know people can't come.
Do we know if anyone has said they can't make the 16th or the 30th?
No, they've
Okay.
not.
Okay.
I can't, but that's,
No, you can't?
I can't, I won't be here in person. I can try to make it
Well,
on
no, we should do it in. we
for the
should do it-
16th meeting.
Oh, the 16th,
You
I'm
can
talking the
do the
30th.
retreat.
Oh, yeah, I'll make the retreat.
Okay.
So Tuesday, the 30th, as the retreat night. It wouldn't be a regular meeting, but it would be the
Yep.
planning retreat night.
Might not research.
Okay, so we'll put that down. and Tuesday, August 16th for a regular meeting,
Okay.
then that works. Okay, so now we've got, we've got the calendar for at least the next, whatever, now 60 days, more or less, in play. So Tuesday, August 16, Tuesday, August 30, Tuesday, September 13, and Tuesday, September 20.
Yep, and there was one more change.
Oh, yes, right.
Valentine's Day.
What's that?
So I guess in the past, the school committee doesn't meet on Valentine's Day? Everyone has big plans. So we had proposed to change it to Tuesday, February 7th and Tuesday, February 28th. And because there's 31 days in January, there's actually 2 weeks between the January 24th meeting and the February 7th meeting. So there's not any back-to-backs. And we wouldn't be meeting during February vacation.
So we're moving the February, we're getting away from 2nd and 4th because of Valentine's Day?
And February vacation.
Okay.
It's not an observed holiday, but I guess there was some consensus that we don't usually meet on Valentine's Day.
We have met Valentine's Day before, but people have have protested meeting on Valentine's Day.
So,
So, again, it was something to be brought up.
I truly have no preference. Truly none, yeah. If it works better for
So-
others, that's fine.
Tuesday, February 7, or Tuesday, February 14.
yeah.
What's our
And-
pleasure?
But you're also saying the 14th. If we don't do it on the 14th, it keeps us out of February break. Or
Yeah,
the- or
February
the-
breaks the 20,
It's
That's
the
what I thought,
20th.
Would be the one
It's not the
in the-
14th.
Right.
February breaks it
Okay.
next week.
right,
We weren't going to be in February break, even if we were,
to second and
because the
fourth.
2nd and 4th wouldn't,
Right.
Yep.
so.
Yeah, January happens to end on a Tuesday.
So, folks, Valentine's Day or not,
7th is good.
so,
7?
7 and
7,
28.
7, 7, okay.
7, 20,
So
sounds good.
Tuesday, February 7, and Tuesday, February 28th.
Yeah.
Any other concerns about the school committee meeting schedule for this coming year? Okay, seeing none, we will revise this schedule and get it posted, share it out and post it.
Thank you.
So now, with these changes that are made, we have a motion, or can you, it's not there, so you have to,
Do we have to take the previous one off, or?
as revised.
Okay. Okay, so let's just figure something out. Move that the school committee approve the schedule of meetings of the school committee for the 2022-2023 school year as presented,
As revised.
as revised.
Second.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Passes unanimously. Okay, very good.
Well done, Amy. Thank you.
So we have now covered two things. We got the retreat done, and we got the calendar, the school committee schedule done. Okay, excellent. Dr. Lyons, welcome. Item number 10, superintendent's remarks and reports.
Thank you very much, Tom. Excuse me. I'm at a professional development event, so sorry I can't be in studio. Good evening, everybody. Just some quick reports and updates. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, Amy Lehman mentioned this, I believe, in our last meeting, and I said we would provide additional information in this meeting. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed has issued a public notice proposing an amendment to the dyslexia screening requirements. Normally, for students in grades K through 3, we screen students in that age range for dyslexia one time per year. The Department of Elementary and Secondary Ed are proposing that we go to 2 screening events per year as a precautionary measure, which I am in favor of, and I think we are in favor of. As Kara Moreau, our assistant superintendent, shared in our last meeting when she was talking about literacy, they use the RAPID, and we are moving to the DIBELS assessment as well. So this proposal that was made for public comment by the Department of Ed will be open until August 19th. and the board will be taking up and making a decision on this. Their plan is by September 20th. Wherever they land or whatever they decide, we will be prepared for whatever decision is made, and we'll have more information to share in August as that information progresses. That's a quick update on that. I don't know if anyone has any questions on that proposal that was made by the board.
Kevin?
Can we do twice a year, even if the state says stay with one?
So we're using 2 assessment instruments now, Kevin. So I think we're likely going to be in that space, but I don't know if we're going to be making, if we go with one, if we'll be exchanging one of the instruments for the other. So I think we could talk about that in an upcoming meeting, certainly.
Okay.
Mike? Oh,
Nope.
did you have a question?
No,
I'm sorry, Stephen.
Doug, in the presentation that we had on the 28th of
Yep.
June, I thought when we were discussing ELA that this specifically came up. I thought that we were told that we do dyslexia screening 3 times a year.
So I didn't come away with 3, and with the implementation of the new instrument, I think our number might vary, right? And so I think in our upcoming meeting we can clarify that. I just wanted to. Amy brought this up as something that was being discussed at the state. I just wanted to follow up and let you know kind of where we are. And in our upcoming meeting in August, Stephen, I can nail all that down.
Okay, and I think from what I was reading that the state is in favor of it and that they're seeking public comment.
Correct. Public comment is open until August 19th.
Yep.
And they're looking to take action on this in the September 20 meeting.
Thank you.
Tom, I just have.
Certainly.
Yeah,
So,
Mike.
Doug, just to clarify, I believe you stated we use 2 different instruments currently. So that was the reason for doing 2 per year, because we would use one instrument at one point in time in year one. But if we go to 1, we won't need to do it twice. Am I hearing you correctly? 'Cause it would be the
No,
same-
what I shared, Michael, was in Kara's presentation,
Yeah,
she had shared that we're using the Rapid right now as our screener, which is a state certified instrument to assess for dyslexia. And so we are bringing another instrument online to get additional information that's called the DIBELS.
got it.
So that's what was shared,
Which is why we would do it twice. You would do it once.
which is why,
Yeah,
well, in terms of the number of times and how we're doing that and phasing in DIBELS, we can give an update.
Okay.
But how we assess is separate from the proposal that's being made by the state.
okay, got it, thank you.
Right? Both instruments are approved instruments by DESE.
Okay.
So
Okay.
if there are no additional questions, moving ahead. Just a quick update on grants. We are partnering with several groups here in town to try to increase funding sources for school safety, for mental health support, and also for our acceleration of students as we did last year. So we are partnering with WEF and several members of the community and making application for a Cummings grant. And so I just want to let the committee know about this. We can cover all the details in a future meeting. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I just want to let you know that we are partnering with other kind of community groups to really be thoughtful about how we are providing services both in school and outside of school for mental health services and to also keep students safe while they're in school. So Cummings has offered, they have a couple of different grants. We received a $100,000 grant from them, I want to say 5 years ago. We just actually completed the expenditure in the last report of that grant. The last expenditure of the last Cummings grant, which was for $100,000, funded the climbing wall that is going to be installed at the Walton School. And so we are also partnering with the police to really think about school safety, and there'll be more information coming there. We are working with the Board of Health and working with 2 other school districts and thinking about how we might provide better, more comprehensive mental health services. So there'll be more information forthcoming in our August meeting. And I do want to let the committee know and the community know that we have again applied for our acceleration grant at the state level. And I'm anticipating that we will hear either this week or next about funding, and that will fund support for our incoming kindergarten students that are either coming from Doyle or that are new to the district. We are also creating some other opportunities to support math. And so I just want to keep the committee in the loop on the work that we're doing to try to bring additional resources in through grants. So there'll be an update on this in August in our next meeting, but I just want to give you a quick snapshot of that work.
If I can.
Yeah, sure.
So Doug,
Mike?
you said you were working with WEF on the Cummings grant. Didn't WEF just recently
Correct.
receive a Cummings grant within the last couple of years? I could have sworn they received one.
So I
They
want to
did.
say that was about 4 or 5
Was it
years
that
ago.
long ago?
I think so.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
okay, well, COVID. we're
Yeah.
all-
Elizabeth Russell was
Yeah.
the kind of that took the lead on that and secured that grant.
Okay, well, okay, sorry.
Which
I didn't realize
supported-
how long.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun, Michael.
They're great, the pantry just got one, so, I mean, they're wonderful, great
Their
program.
Cummings has been amazing, so I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to provide more information on these grants in August. But I did want to just update the committee because we always get questions from the community about, are we working to go after all additional resources that might help us bolster the opportunities and the support that we're providing for our students and our teachers? And the answer is yes. Yes, we are, and we're working hard at it. And the partnerships that we're making in town are also kind of helping us in the work we do as well. So more information to follow there.
Kevin?
Yeah, for the acceleration grant, was that a general grant that if we do get the grant, we're gonna use it for the incoming kindergarten math? Or is the grant specific to kindergarten math? In other
So it
words, could
wouldn't
like
be-
the grant be used for other endeavors?
So the grant, the acceleration grant is for math and literacy,
Okay.
Kevin.
Okay,
So we would be using it for literacy for our incoming K students.
got it.
And for our middle school students, we would be looking at, really looking at probably grade 8 for math, but there'll be more information forthcoming on that as soon as we hear from the department about the grant.
Okay,
We got it last year.
we did.
Doug, one more question, do you have a sense of the amount involved in any of these grants yet, or is that too hard to say?
It's it's hard to say right now.
Okay.
I think because they are grants that are partnership grants, they fund a number of different things, and they fund a number of different things within the partnerships that we've created.
Okay,
So there'll be more information forthcoming on that in August.
okay, thanks.
All right? Certainly. If there are no other questions, I can move on. I'd like to call Tim to the table. Tim, if you could come up.
In a good way, Tim.
Not the same as being called to the office.
So, Tim, sorry I can't be there with you. I can just get Tim started and let him go here. Tim has been really a great kind of conduit to other town agencies. He's working in collaboration with DPW and also a number of contractors and facilities. So he has a number of irons in the fire with facilities. And then after we talk about facilities, we're going to give a separate update in regard to the high school and how the work that's being done there with our architectural firm. But if you can start off with facilities, Tim, is that okay?
Absolutely. So just want to provide you with a general overview of some of the larger scale projects that we have going on this summer. This is in addition to the regular scheduled maintenance that we would do every summer regardless. We'll start with Doyle. I think that's where the most significant construction projects are happening. We started the summer with an air conditioning project at Doyle to accommodate a summer program. which is something that we don't normally do, and we were able to do this year. It makes, I think it makes everybody's lives a little bit easier. We have to move a lot less furniture. We're able to, not have the younger kids in such a large building like the Galvin School. It's a little bit more comfortable. I think that the teachers at Doyle are pretty happy with how that's going. It's only day 2, but things look pretty good so far. Also happening at Doyle, this project has really started to ramp up this week, is the Doyle Kitchen project. So we're installing a full-scale kitchen to be able to prepare and serve food at the Doyle, where we were not previously able to do that. We would, be bringing food in from other locations. We'll be able to do that at Doyle. So we've begun demo in the staff kitchen. The rooms are empty. Plumbing work has begun. We'll be cutting into the floor later on this week. Scale of the project is looking 2 to 4 weeks maximum, and we'll be able to get everything put back together and be ready to roll for September. Very exciting project there. That's going to run concurrently with a bathroom project. We're going to add a stall in the already existing bathroom for staff at Doyle. That will be in the same footprint of the existing bathroom. It'll be a unisex bathroom. You can enter, it'll be a common hand washing area, and then 2 stalls, 2 bathroom stalls. Those stalls will run floor to ceiling, so they'll be separate and private. Moving on to the Woodville, end of last week, the existing play structure and surface that we all saw during this previous school year was dismantled and disposed of. They removed the play surface, and it's down about a foot below grade right now and ready to receive the new structure. The new structure and surface will be installed in the existing sort of parameters that were there already. So we're going to look at doing some other upgrades to the surfaces in back of the Woodville School this summer. There's an area that was previously occupied by grass. It gets constant sunlight. It's sort of difficult to maintain grass in that area. We're looking at possibly changing some of the surfaces there, but there'll be more information coming on that. Another kitchen project at Woodville. We are going to add a outdoor walk-in freezer at Woodville. That was something, project that we, between myself, Sandy, and Danielle in food service, they thought would provide, additional storage space between the high school and Woodville, be beneficial to both operations. So we originally thought that wasn't going to happen until November timeframe. We've got word that all the materials have arrived and are ready to install, so we're looking at next week. So some of those things to be delivered and begin the work there.
Where's that going to go, Tim?
That is going to go in the area behind the trash enclosure.
Yep.
So between the building and that enclosure. It's not a huge walk-in freezer,
Okay.
but definitely provides them with some flex space.
And that's the
Nice.
door for the cafeterias right there as
Yep.
well, so it makes sense,
Yep.
right, to go there.
Absolutely.
And it'll be used by both if the high school has some overflow?
If the high school has some overflow, they'll be able to use it if needed. Otherwise, if Woodville is occupying all that space, that'll be fine as well. So
Great.
it seems like everybody's kind of excited about having a little bit extra space.
You
Nice.
can always buy in bulk cheaper, so.
Yeah.
Right, buying in bulk. Moving over to Greenwood, we are looking at, this is something I worked with Rosie earlier in the year on, providing some floor-to-ceiling dividers in some speech therapy rooms at Greenwood. The report was basically that they, didn't have the sort of private spaces that they needed to do their work effectively, and they thought that it would be a major improvement to have some more separate spaces on one half of the room to be able to work with students, and in the other half for some planning and other activities to happen. So we've worked with WB Mason, done measurements and ordered materials. I don't have exact install dates yet. I'm hoping that we'll be able to receive and install these dividers prior to school coming back into session. I have my fingers crossed on that one, so we'll see. Additionally, we're doing a similar space at Walton. I'm working with Brian Schmidt on exactly, the room in question it's not exactly plug and play with one of these room dividers. There's some windows involved, so we need to find a better way forward, but we'll be working on that, and there'll be more to report on that later on. The Greenwood Kitchen. There were concerns about some of the storage space in the Greenwood Kitchen. We are going to remove and replace those storage areas. It's a small space already, so just want to make it as functional as possible. We are going to be putting together a medically fragile classroom at Galvin. No major renovations here, just some window treatments and some adjustments in lighting. Possibly the addition of a handicap parking spot local to that classroom to make ease of drop-off and pickup. The Walton play structure and surface. So this was something we had hoped originally to construct concurrently with the Woodville project. The timing of the order of those materials kind of precluded us from doing that. I spoke with Dennis Fazio today. He said basically that the earliest we'd possibly be able to do that project is a fall time frame. I would probably say we're looking into next year on that, just based on the way materials have been running. So that is something that we're looking forward to getting done. In the absence of a replacement of that structure, we want to make sure that the existing structure is adequate and is safe for the kids to play on in this coming school year, and we'll make sure that that gets done. And that's all I've got. I know that was kind of long-winded, but.
Tim, just the Walton playground, are they getting the same surface treatment as some of the other schools, that rubberized material that's
Yes.
going to tie us to, like, we can't install during cold weather?
Exactly. So that would be the major issue. As we got it further into the colder months, it would not allow us to be able to install that surface, which is why we'd have to wait for spring.
Yep. The medical fragile classroom for the Galvin, any talk about acoustical treatments in that space?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So we do have a contractor comes and does those treatments, and we will be working with them to get that done.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks.
Uh-oh.
Who's saying uh-oh?
Why are they saying
Okay. Thank you, Tim. Any questions for Tim? Well, certainly, you as every year, as every summer, you and your team have your work cut out for you. But certainly, thank you in advance for what lies ahead in the coming weeks. Look forward to the report in September of progress, and thank your team for us.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Tim.
Dr. Lyons has left us a technology glitch going over the Sagamore River, I'm imagining, Sagamore Bridge. So, okay, so why don't we proceed with subcommittee reports, and when Doug rejoins us, and Doug has rejoined us.
I'm
Doug,
here.
welcome back,
Can you hear
Dr.
me?
Lyons.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
So I don't know, I think we can move to our high school update.
Yes, please.
And so we've had a number of people on campus. And I know Tim has an update on that as well. Tim?
Sure. So we started this week off with a bang. We hosted near 30 individuals from 4 construction management firms. Those represented were Shawmut, Suffolk, Bond, and Skanska. We gave them a tour of the building, although they weren't really all that interested with the existing building. They were more interested in getting a lay of the land outside and what the site looks like for the new building. We did give them a tour. There was a lot of enthusiasm about the project. You could tell they had sent a lot of representatives from each firm. there were a lot of questions, mostly regarding parking for their subcontractors during construction. A lot of ideas getting floated around. Some were better than others. We'll see. You know, they're very creative when it comes to these things. So it'll be interesting to see how that all pans out. But like I said, it seems like there's a lot of interest and enthusiasm in our project. And then starting today and going through the next 2 days, they have begun the geotechnical engineering portion of the project. There's been a lot of soil borings and test pits to come this week. I do have to thank DPW, who has sort of bailed us out and sent us some help in equipment and staff to get us through that process. So we're definitely thankful for that. It could have created a scheduling snafu for us, so it's very helpful from the town, so we appreciate that. But as some of you may have seen today, we were virtually surrounded, the entire building, with drilling rigs, and they were making a lot of noise, but the information that I got in the field observations are that in general things are looking good. So obviously things have to be sent to labs and everything, but a lot of good feedback so far.
Tim, can you also talk about the geotechnical work that was done?
Yeah, so the soil borings began today. Will continue through tomorrow and possibly into Thursday. And like I said, with help from the DPW, they'll be with us to do some saw cutting and things of that nature. We will be working out on the track in some of the sand pits. And we've worked with Brendan Kent to make sure he's aware of everything that's going on. Nothing's going to occur in competition space. It was really thoughtfully done so that we aren't going to interrupt anything or cause any damage or harm to spaces that are used by our sports programs.
Thanks so much, Tim. Much appreciated.
Of course.
I don't know if people have questions.
The only thing I would bring up too is Tim was fortunate enough, every year in his budget, he hires summer workers. You want to talk about the students that we have been hiring?
Yes, so we've hired 12 summer custodians. We've been able to start 5 of them so far. We've been working closely with them. I actually held a little clinic this morning and invited some folks in to help them get through some of the paperwork that needs to be done. Some of them don't have access to scanners and things of that nature to get all their paperwork updated, but we're working through that, getting them started. We have a lot of great help so far this year, and I want to give the guys credit because the high school specifically, history hallway, math hallway, and the area around culinary are all done already, which I'm impressed by. They're working swiftly, and everything really looks great. So, and that's not to say the other schools are doing well as well. We do happen to have the most summer help here in this building in the high school. So, everybody's really getting things done, and we went into the summer, we met and talked about front loading things. Let's get the bulk of the work done as early as we can. We'll use the summer help to the best of our ability. They can move furniture around for us, and we can get right through it. That way we're not scrambling towards the end of the summer. So we want to make sure we have, as we get to the end of summer and we're ready to get back to school, nothing surprises us, and we're really ready for anything.
Are these kids all kids that are in the high school that are doing this?
So there's a mix. We have some folks who are enrolled in high school. We have college, some college folks. We really have and not everybody's from Wakefield either. We have some folks who returned from previous years, which is always great. They have the lay of the land, and they know what needs to be done and where to go next. So that definitely streamlines things as well.
Great, thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Tim. Much appreciated.
Of course. Thanks.
Thank you.
So our last item of business this evening is to review the appointment of 2 school nurses. And so Meg Hoffman has been filling in. We had one of our nurses at Dolbear took a leave, Meg Hoffman was one of our COVID nurses. She had worked with Wakefield Academy, became a COVID nurse, and was filling in, would also sub for other nurses. So we are seeking to appoint Meg to a full-time position at Dolbear. We also had Mary Doherty retire, which is a huge loss for us in the district, but we're trying to, when you get dealt lemons, you try to make lemonade and make things better. And we are also seeking to appoint another COVID nurse who has worked in our district, and that's Alicia Warner to the Greenwood position. So we are seeking the support of school committee in appointing both of those nurses to those positions.
We have a motion?
We do. Move that the school committee approve the superintendent's recommendation for school nurse position as presented.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Passes unanimously.
Thank you so much. That's it for me this evening.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Lyons. Subcommittee reports. Finance, any?
Yep, so we have our first meeting on July 21st. That will give you enough time to finish off the
Sure.
financial report. You look at me like, sure. No,
We'll give you an update as.
that's fine,
yeah.
where we are at that
Yeah.
point in time. So that's a week from this Thursday was our first meeting. Thanks.
Great. Labor and personnel, we've already discussed. Student services, Ms. Lehman.
Yes, we had our first meeting on June 30th at 9 a.m. It was myself, Mr. Fontanella, Ms. Colleran, and we met with Rosie Galvin, the Director of Special Education. It's more of an introduction, like a meet and greet. I thought it would be a good idea to get the introductions over, so then come September, when we have our regular meetings, we can hit the ground running. Rosie was very informative. She shared the overview of the special education programmings from the Doyle all the way up through Post, and she actually has a visual that she shared with us, which I found extremely helpful. I know we've never had that in the past. I have a daughter that's been in the special education programs for 6 years, and this is the first time I've actually seen it in writing, which is great. We also talked about, there's a special education hires. There's a director at the middle school now, 5 through 8, and then there's a gentleman that's going to be elementary, and that position was vacant most of this year. So that'll be good to have those positions.
hires, yeah.
Two good hires. I know Rosie covered all of the meetings this year. So, and we planned, right now, our meetings in September will be Mondays at 4:30. And I hope to meet one more time in August, just maybe with Doug, to see what things we can focus on this year. So, yeah, it's a good meeting,
Great.
right?
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Very good meeting.
Yeah.
Policy communications, Stephen.
Yep, so policy and communications met last Wednesday at 4 o'clock. I think we're going to try and keep a cadence like that to be probably Wednesdays at 4 every other week, give or take, as the work dictates. We also did sort of a light overview of what we do in policy and comms. Talked a little bit about the MASC taking on our policy book, some stuff that we had talked about, got Kevin and Eileen up to speed on that work that's being done. Also talked a bit about the handbooks and how we had split those out. Kevin is doing the high school handbook. I myself am doing the Galvin handbook. Eileen is doing the elementary handbook, and Dr. Lyons just taking care of the Doyle. So good questions coming out of that. I think we will have a meeting prior to the next school committee meeting where we should be able to sort of button that up and make our sort of recommendations and finalized versions of handbooks to the committee to get them approved so that they can go back and be disseminated with the rest of the district. So we should line up there nicely. And then in closing in that meeting, we talked a little bit about the wellness policy. Initially, how it relates to sort of safe streets, some of the working groups that are going on around town about pedestrian health and sort of our students that either walk to school, ride their bike. How can we best support them? How can we sort of champion those ideas? while making, the streets a little bit safer for our students to do that. So just kind of an open-ended, just something that we're going to still talk about. And then in that meeting, Eileen had brought up the bullying policy, and we were reminded that that was something that we were hoping to tackle last year. But there were some other things that sort of overshadowed it, so I think we're going to pick that up again. It actually was recently looked at 2021. So we're going to take a look at, see how much polishing and any other relevant information that might need to be captured in it.
Great. Great, thank you. Any questions for any subcommittee chairs? Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry. Do
Okay,
you have meeting minutes you want us to approve?
We did.
they're in the packet.
Oh, you approve, we don't approve them separately? Oh, sorry.
No, we approve them as part of the...
I owe meeting minutes,
part
I'll
of
have
the,
them in August.
full-
Okay, sorry.
One thing that will be added under this agenda item in the future is the liaison reports. We have not had that for the last couple of meetings, really since the new school committee was assembled. We haven't had those assignments. We do tonight, like to present those as shared. Again, want to thank the members of the committee for chiming in with what some of your preferences may be, or offering to serve where needed. So I'd like to introduce for the record, and then for a motion to support the following appointments. To liaison with the Environmental Sustainability Committee, that would be Eileen Colleran. Liaison with Human Rights Commission, Kevin Piscadlo. Liaison with the Permanent Building Committee, Mike Boudreau. Liaison with Special Education Parent Advisory Committee, or CPAC, would be Stephen Ingalls. And liaison with the Youth Council would be Kevin Fontanella. Is there a motion to accept those appointments as presented?
Sure. Move that the school committee approve the liaison assignments as presented.
Second.
Second, motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. So what I will do next is I will send an email to each of the committee chairpersons of those groups, and I'll copy the appropriate member, and Judy, and Doug. Then it'd really be up to you folks to come up with when their meeting schedule, how to get sort of acclimated into that. I'm just gonna do the introduction and then sort of walk away. Okay?
Great.
Great, okay. And don't feel a need to have a report every meeting, because there may not be something happening in between. We meet twice a month. Some of these committees may meet once a month, or or they may meet as needed. So some of that don't necessarily, it'll be on every agenda, but that opportunity won't necessarily have to be filled unless there's really something to speak to.
Tom, I had a
Make
question
sense?
on that, if
Yeah.
I may. So with CPAC, for example, they schedule meetings, and then I would go to those
Right.
meetings, so Stephen will. Well, is that pretty consistent with the other committees as well, that they schedule meetings, and then we fit our schedule around theirs? How does
Yeah,
it work?
they're
Okay.
not gonna, because we're a liaison, so
Yeah,
we're not,
exactly.
like, we'll just pick on you, since at Permanent Building Committee, you won't be a voting member
Yep.
of the Permanent Building Committee. Not quite sure if the other committees actually have, a voting structure. The Youth Council
Yeah.
does,
Yeah.
but that's as much an exercise in meeting organization, right? It's not, so I'm not quite sure what the voting structure of each organization is, but Permanent Building Committee certainly does have a lawful set of requirements with regard to voting, and full members and associate members, and so certainly, we will have to, the chairs of these organizations may ask, what your schedules may be, but I'm not confident that they would schedule around us. They've got business to attend to. That's their own pace, right?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, great, thank you all for that. Okay, next, item 12, future dates and agenda items, as we've reaffirmed tonight in the accepting of the school committee meeting schedule. Our next meeting, Tuesday, August 16, 2022. Item 13, school committee comments. going around the table. How about Mr. Boudreau?
Sure. I found out over the last couple of days about someone who's leaving us, who I think is an amazing person, Danielle Collins. If any of you have met her, she's high energy, passionate, a pleasure to deal with, dealing with her with the school committee, but even with the food pantry. So she will certainly be missed. She is a wonderful person, so we wish her all the best.
Kevin?
One big thing that, I'm always thinking about with my own kids is the importance of reading, and how in the summer, we're always, trying to keep our kids active, we're outside, the weather's great, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, my kids haven't read, like during the day in a long time, and then I think about learning loss over the summer, and my own experience as a teacher. So I just wanted to plug the BB Library. I mean, it's, I've been going there since I moved to Wakefield, but they really are awesome. They really have a great children's programming. Today I took my kids there and, each take out 8 books. They really do a great job of really helping find, like one of my kids, like just wants to get every nonfiction football thing that's in there. The other kid's reading like graphic novels, but they really do a great job of, finding specific things that, kids of all ages will read. So I think that they got a great staff. It's a great space. Can't say enough. And it really does a good job, I think, helping out what we're doing here in the school system. So, yep, that's it.
Great, thank you. Amy?
Extended school year started, yes. What's today? Yeah, it started yesterday.
Yesterday,
It
today,
feels
yeah.
like
Today's
it started.
Tuesday.
So yeah, it's off. From what I can see, it's off to a great start.
Great. Stephen?
I would just say thank you again to the bargaining members for the agreements that we're able to reach. That's great. Hope everyone's having a good summer, and everyone who's still in district, while the rest of us are sort of enjoying blue days. But everyone else that's in the building still working hard. Just hope everyone's having a good time. And the BB Library for Youth also does amazing book clubs. And they actually have one for starting in first grade, book clubs where the kids sit together and talk about books. Just a great way to approach reading. And just another round of applause for them. They do great work.
Great. Let me just add, hope everyone had a wonderful 4th of July. I know this year's, and a huge shout out to the Independence Day Committee for bringing the parade back in such a glorious way, and such an important way that it had been on hiatus for the last couple of years. So it was really, really well done. It was a beautiful day and a beautiful weekend. So hope everyone's 4th of July was safe and enjoyable. And certainly wish everyone the best for the rest of the month of July. We won't see everyone now for another month, but certainly have a great rest of the summer all, and to the community and to everyone in the schools. Wish everyone gets a chance to spend time with their families and wind down a little bit and take some much deserved and much needed family time and some downtime. So, thank you. Motion to adjourn.
Yes. Move that the school committee adjourn its meeting of Tuesday, July 12, 2022.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor? Opposed? Passes unanimously. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Tom. You got under my prediction. You did a nice job.
Just